Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the show. I'm Mary Grace, and this is Barley George, and we are live. And I think we're back on YouTube today. Okay. Sorry about that. Here we go. All this equipment, he's right in the middle of it. Okay, let's see. Let's see if it's working today. Okay, I think we're online everywhere. Awesome. Welcome. I hope everybody's seeing the notifications. I'm a little distracted right now. Hello, everybody. Hello, audience. All right. Say hello as you're coming in. Okay, good. Good to see everybody. I didn't expect Barley George to jump up right when I was going live. So I am back on YouTube for now. Yep, Barley's here. He's trying to get my water. I got to move it over here. He tries to get in this thing and it has a top on it, and he tries to get in the top. Now he's watching me on the screen. Look at him. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Am I on Cloud Hub too? Do me a favor on Cloud Hub and go over there and if you can watch, if you have more than one device, watch over there. But for some reason, I have a whole bunch of followers on Cloud Hub. People just don't watch the videos. I don't know why. So that being said, I'm Mary Grace. This is Real Talk with Mary Grace. It is Thursday, the 10th of February, 2022, and I am back. I am live. And for those of you who don't know, that was Barley George. He's the cat. He's the show mascot. And some of you knew him from when he was a little baby and he almost died. So he's with us on and off sometimes. And if you hear the noise, if you hear him crying in the background, that's because he's spoiled and he's very loud. The other thing is this the YouTube channel got I got a strike on the YouTube channel for helping people save lives and telling the truth, but I upset, I guess, the medical industrial complex and their overlords. And so I don't know how long we'll be on YouTube, but here's what my plan is. I want to continue on YouTube as long as I can, but I am transitioning over to Rumble. And I want you to do me a favor right now. I want you to go on Rumble and follow me. Follow my channel, Mary Grace Media. Please go follow the channel. Right now, I have to upload onto Rumble. My Restream platform lets me stream onto 4 different channels. However, they charge me extra if I want to stream onto a channel like Rumble and Cloud Hub at the same time. Those are channels that aren't in their standard lineup. And so it's like a special coding. And for some reason, they charge you extra if you do more than one of those. And I just I don't want to upgrade my plan right now. It works really well. What I would rather do is at some point, I don't know how long I'll stream onto Cloud Hub. So I guess what I'm saying is I'm going to be focusing on Rumble. Right now, I want you to help me build up that channel. And then we'll go over there. We'll do more chatting over there. I really do enjoy watching the chat. As you know, a lot of people record videos and then they upload them and then people leave comments. And that's great. It works for a lot of people. I just do really, I think better. I enjoy having the live interaction in the chat. And that's one of the reasons right now I want to stick with YouTube because I can see the chat and a lot of you are chatting in YouTube. But hey, let's not give the deep state the satisfaction of having us over there for any longer than is necessary, because the truth is we have to censor a lot of what we say in the chat and on my show. And I've been doing it now for 5 years on different platforms. I got taken off of Periscope completely and Twitter, my original Twitter account. And so, I'm kind of done with that. I'm done talking in code. I'm tired of, not offending the powers that be, the socialist media overlords and their minions that get offended at every little thing you say. And so I want to start funneling everybody into Rumble. So Rumble, Mary Grace Media, that's my channel over there. Please today take the time to go to Rumble. They do have an app. You do not have to watch in the app. They do have picture in picture feature so that if you're multitasking and you want to listen while you're doing something else, you can hit the little icon that makes a pop up window, and then you can scroll through and do other stuff uh, while you're listening. Same thing as YouTube. And I don't know if that's unique to different phones or systems, but I can do it on mine. And that really helps. So, like if you click off to send a text or something, it doesn't pause the listening. All right. So come on in. As you're coming in, say hello. If you're on Facebook, please tag people and share this. And then if you if you come in for the replay, please leave a comment. Please give me your thoughts about what you hear me talking about today. I do read those comments, and I appreciate your input. I really do. So today I'm going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Canada with the truckers. I'm going to talk about the uh, the sudden pivoting that we're seeing in the messaging and the mandates and different states making reversals. We're going to talk a little bit about just kind of how to navigate that right now. I think there's a real need for awareness and vigilance. And so I want to really give an exhortation about that. So we'll come to that during the show today. And a couple other things. I'll jump to those things when we get there. Um, so, how did I get there? All right. I somehow ended up clicking on an ad by accident. Let me get my notes here. All right. I guess the first thing that I'll talk about is um, okay. So let's talk about the truckers. I want to talk about the truckers. Um, in case you haven't been aware of this, the um, the truckers have the truckers have cracked the wall. They've done something, I guess, similar to what happened with Joshua and the soldiers um, in Jericho, right? When God told them to march around the wall 7 times, march around 7 times for I guess it was 7 days, and then on the last day they drew a trumpet, they blew their horns, right, honk honk, and then the walls came tumbling down. And I think that what we're seeing right now in Canada is just it's a beautiful thing. And the reason that I think it's so amazing, it kind of gives me chills when I think about it, is that I was listening to a briefing that was put out by the organizers of the convoy, I guess the leadership of the convoy, the Freedom Convoy, the other day. And these, the Canadians, it's kind of funny. The Canadians are super low key. Have you noticed that? They're, you know, when you think of Canadians, you think of, you know, they just have a super low key, um, they have a super low key manner. And I was listening to this conference, and the guy was talking about Justine Trudeau, and he was criticizing him, and he was kind of apologizing for criticizing him, right? Whereas like Americans, we would just be like, that, what, I mean, just we would just be like all out, because we're all in on just, telling it like it is. And this guy was kind of apologetic. He's like, I know I probably shouldn't say this, but I mean, he's kind of a one-trick pony. He doesn't want to negotiate. He's not willing to listen to us. And I thought it was really funny because he was sort of apologetic about that insult, right? And the funny thing about the Canadians is like they're either like killing you on the hockey ice, or they're apologizing for criticizing. It was like there's no in between, right? And And so we've always kind of underestimated the Canadians, sort of forgetting that, they fought alongside us valiantly in wars. So, they have been our brothers and sisters in arms on other occasions, but I don't think anybody saw them taking the leadership on this. I mean, to be honest, right? Because they've sort of just, throughout the pandemic, it was just sort of like, we sort of heard these little cries for help from the Great White North, but then that we didn't really see any, big action. And then Trudeau got elected again. Of course, we know it was probably fixed. But anyway, so we're listening to these Canadians, and I think it's really cool how God does things because I mean, let's face it, if the Canadians take to the streets and stage a massive protest in the capital, then the new world order is in big trouble because these are people that really don't want to make trouble. I mean, they even their protest is like a festival. I mean, they've got bouncy castles, they're feeding the homeless. Crime is down in the city by I think like 90%. The 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 homeless are being fed. They're cleaning the bathrooms and and they're cleaning all of the places that let them in to eat and stay. So they're literally taking care of the whole city. They're doing the job that the city government is supposed to do, that the taxpayers pay to have done, like keeping the city clean. They bought 100 snow shovels. They've been shoveling snow everywhere they go, and so it's kind of cool because they're they're heaping coals upon the enemy's head by, you know, coming into the city, making a stand, and then changing the entire atmosphere of the city for the better. And the people that come out into the streets, the residents that finally, take the plunge to go out and see what's going on, they meet the truckers, they see what they're doing in real life as opposed to what the media is telling them. And from all accounts, the people are finding that, wow, these are not mean, angry people that are destroying our city. They're actually here with a purpose and they're actually taking care of people. So I think it's just really I think it's really interesting, that 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 this particular movement is becoming the template for protest, for peaceful protest around the globe. I love it. I love the way that God is doing this. And he's breaking down the walls. He's cracking the facade of the deep state. I mean, it's almost laughable to hear Justine talking about these people because he's gaslighting the Canadian people and the world by telling them that these people are racist and criminals and racist and criminals and what else? Insurrectionists and all these things and Nazis. And then you go out in the street and they're like, here, have a donut. I mean, come to the bouncy castle, bring the kids. Let's, play on the hay bales. And I mean, it's just, it's just like, and you contrast that with demonstrations that happen in other parts of the country or in America. For example, during the Kavanaugh hearings, when with the Women's March, of course, the George Floyd mostly peaceful protests where they're literally wreaking havoc and destruction and burning entire cities. Not to mention, just leaving behind all of their placards, all of the debris. If you've ever been in DC after one of those demonstrations, it's a big mess. They don't take their trash with them, and so I love what's happening right now, and I really want to encourage you to lift up the the Canadians and the Americans who are joining them in prayer. And I will tell you that it's making a difference. I just saw last night that the auto industry. I'm going to read this to you. the auto industry is actually being hit. It says the Biden administration has been told point blank the American auto industry is going to shut down in the next 72 hours unless COVID mandates are stopped for truckers crossing the northern border. That's because Canada and the US are joined at the hip in building cars and trucks. Officials are meeting tonight and discussing what to do. They are in panic mode. General Motors has already announced its first plant closings in the swing state of Michigan. Yeah, so this is really amazing. So if you saw the bridge that goes from Detroit to Windsor, Canada, that's what they're talking about. This bridge was brought the bridge coming into the U.S. Was brought to a standstill by protesters. And this is actually happening all over the country at lots of border crossings now. The first one they did was at Montana. And then the most recent one that I've seen is the one that they did at Windsor at Michigan. But there are other ones as well. And it is just it's a beautiful thing. And and then of course we hear about the wrecker drivers that are refusing to tow the trucks because the wrecker drivers, the big wrecker drivers, are truckers. I mean, they're just truckers driving wreckers, and those industries are inextricably linked. They keep the truckers, they keep the big trucks on the road. They pull them out of ditches. They help them when they jackknife. They get them up icy roads, things like that. And if you've ever watched Highway Through Hell on the Weather Channel, you know what I'm talking about. I watch that with my dad. It's a very interesting show. It's just happening in such a beautiful way, and this is what I love. And I really want to encourage everybody to keep praying for them because one of the things they said in the conference on Monday, sorry, is that they're getting word of a credible uh, threat of police action, and and they're getting word that the police are possibly going to come in and round up the truckers. And the term that they used for it is something called kettling. And this is where you get a whole line of police that sort of make like a dragnet around the people and push them into one spot, and then they start making arrests. And and this is what and when the spokesperson, one of the spokespeople was describing this, somebody asked, what exactly is kettling? And he described that. And then he said, we were told that the first sign of this would be when our comms go dark, when our cell signals stop working, when we can no longer upload to social media, things like that. And he said, if that happens, if you notice that the usual people that are live streaming are no longer live streaming, that is a sign that has started. And then he's actually encouraging people to come to Ottawa because obviously there is strength in numbers, to come peacefully and stand in solidarity with the people there in Ottawa. And anyway, so when he was talking about this, he was talking about kettling, he was explaining it. And when he did that, I had this epiphany because I don't know if you guys, I don't know if you guys, sorry for the coughing. This is the remnants of that cold that I had. And there's this congestion. So I apologize. I don't like to be one of those people that's hacking and coughing into the microphone. But so he was talking about kettling and he explained it. And when he said, the comms go dark, nobody can stream, nobody can upload, that kind of thing. And and then they start pushing the people with a police line. And I had this epiphany, guys, because I don't know if you remember when I was in DC that day and I was trying to live stream and I was walking down the street and I got to a point, I was live streaming just fine. And then there was just this line that I couldn't cross. Do you guys remember that? And I was on Pennsylvania Avenue, and there was it was a line that I couldn't cross because everything went dark. I couldn't tweet, I couldn't text, I couldn't live stream, and so I had to stay like behind that line. Remember that? And I was thinking about this. I've said this before because when that event took place at a little bit after 1 p.m., when people were storming the Capitol, footage started to come out almost immediately. And I kept saying that was not organic footage because nobody could live stream. The citizens, right? The those of us who went to DC to listen, to hear the speech, um, and to those of us who went to do that, anybody that tried to get within the perimeter of that building um, could not get a signal out. And so I actually stopped. I never got even onto the grounds of that building. Thankfully, God was protecting me. I didn't know it at the time, but the footage that was coming out, was coming out like immediately. However, nobody was able to stream. What does that mean? It means that the people that were uploading footage in real time were accessing the satellite trucks of the news networks. And we saw later that at least one of the people in there that was streaming was a news person. However, now that we think about it and we see the footage that came out of like the violence, now that we understand that there were agitators in the crowd, um, it makes sense that they would have a signal and that they would get to stream images and videos of violence that was happening. Now, the kettling part, was there a line of police that was pushing the crowd into submission, right? No, there wasn't. However, if you saw if you saw any of the footage of the people that quote stormed the Capitol, there were videos that showed that people were lined up against those metal like bike rack fences, and all of a sudden they started getting pushed from behind. And you may have heard accounts after the fact of people saying, we were just leaning against the fence, and the next thing you know, we were getting pushed and we had nowhere to go but forward. Does anybody remember that? Are you guys with me here? This is, to me, this is like the puzzle pieces are coming together, because we know that there's at least one man named Ray Epps who was more than likely working for the feds. This broadcast is probably going to get taken down. Um, so let's see. um, yeah. So doesn't that kind of bring it together a little bit for you? That even though we didn't see police, in uniform marching in a line toward the crowd, it was actually, in my opinion, my belief is that it was done from behind and that they pushed all these people toward the Capitol. Um, I just think it's fascinating how they did it, and I actually interviewed somebody on the street that night, a security guard who had witnessed firsthand the police on the other side of the Capitol waving people in to the area. So I just think it's, I mean, the light bulb went off for me. And I really hope that the truth comes out on this. I really do, because it all makes so much sense now. And then, later on, after that incident took place, um I was I was a little bit closer. Now, this was like probably at, I don't know, 3 o'clock, 4 o'clock. It was getting dark. I was actually able to get a phone call. I got interviewed by the BBC in Ireland, and I was standing on the grounds of the Capitol when they interviewed me. I was up on the west side, like on the lawn area, sort of near they have uh, where they have the TVs set up for the inauguration. And yeah, so I was standing up there, and I was able to receive a call, and then I was able to get some text, but it was still kind of iffy. But what I'm saying to you is that to me, it's pretty obvious that somebody jammed the signals at that time when this was all going down, because I mean, the timing of it was so perfect. If you remember, the breach happened like right when Arizona was about to object to the electors. They were going to file an objection, and they were going to be one of the first. And there were a number of senators, a number of lawmakers that were on board um, with supporting the objections. The timing of it is just so um, uncanny. I don't see any way that this couldn't have been planned. I don't know. What do you guys think? And when I say planned, I'm saying not by Team Freedom, planned by, the cabal, Nancy and her minions, and probably some rhinos, because now what we've seen is that they're working hand in hand with the Democrats. It's the uniparty, you know. So we're definitely seeing that happen. But that's just something that I wanted to point out to you guys. So pay attention. And again, continue to pray for the patriots, for the freedom fighters up in Canada. Pray that more people in Ottawa would come to realize what's really going on, and that they would meet the truckers, that they would have conversations with them, that they would understand what's really happening in their country and around the world. Um, and then, pray for the families, for the children, for the for the truckers to be able to stay warm. The police came and stole their firewood last night. Uh, the police came and stole their firewood, and yeah, that's crazy. They were told to give back the fuel. I don't know if you saw that, and I told you guys, I showed you guys the other day, um, how all of the people started carrying the fuel cans into the city. They did it even more. It was so good. It was so good. I mean, everybody was walking around with fuel cans, and then the police start taking them. I mean, you gotta love it. You gotta love the sense of humor that they have in dealing with this, because I I mean, it's just there's just so much treachery going on that you have to be able to laugh, right? Somebody on Facebook said I'm being shadow banned. Oh, absolutely. I know. You should see my Twitter feed. Guys, go over to my Twitter, Real Mary Grace 1, and start looking at my tweets and retweeting and liking them or something so we can break the algorithm. I think they have my IP address flagged from my old account that they deleted. So yeah. But speaking of that day in January, I don't know if you guys are familiar with Brandon Strzok. He founded the Walk Away campaign. He was a former Democrat. You guys know Brandon, right? So Brandon he went through the horrific ordeal of having his rights completely stripped away. And he talked about the plea deal system. I listened to him on a space on Twitter last week. He was talking about that. Well, he's having a live stream tonight. It's his first live stream since all of this happened, since he was released to go public after the sentencing. And so you're probably not going to want to miss that. His website is, I should have had this queued up. Let me see. I got his email. I'm on his email list. So Walkaway Foundation. He was on Levin TV last night. But he's also, oh shoot, what's his website? Brandon, what's your website? He said, I'll be with you live tonight. So he's on Rumble, Getter, YouTube, Facebook, and I don't know if it's probably just under Brandon Strock. So it's Straka, but it's pronounced Strock. Brandon Strock. All right, so go check that out. What time is he going to do it? What time is it? 9 p.m. Eastern. 9 p.m. Eastern. Um, he says, "Don't be drawn in by Olympic curling and blow me off." So yeah, so I think that's going to be really good. He's going to be taking live calls during the live stream. I think you should probably bring tissues because it's going to be pretty emotional. What to hearing what he went through and seeing him, but just continue to keep him in your prayers because obviously God has a destiny on his life, and I really believe that I know that they poked the wrong bear. They absolutely picked the wrong person to 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 victimize here because he's not a victim, he's a victor. And God has done amazing things in his life since he started this movement. If you never saw any of his content, I encourage you to go to his website, look at the original video that he put up when he started Walk Away. Guys, is it Walk Away? Can somebody find his website for me? The legit website. I don't know if it's walkawayfoundation.com because he's changed it a little bit. So it's Brandon Strock, BrandonStraka, Brandon Strock. And some people say Straka, but it's Strock. All right. So he's incredibly articulate, guys. He has brought he's the reason that President Trump had he's one of the big reasons that President Trump had record numbers of minority voters, gays, blacks, Latinos, women, in the 2020 election. I would say that Brandon is a massive threat to the Great Reset and the establishment, GOP and Democrat. He really is. And the crazy thing is, the things that they accused him of doing in DC, it's kind of laughable because he's such a sweetheart. Like if Brandon wouldn't hurt a fly, and they completely traumatized him. But what they didn't count on is that he has a fighting heart. He's a fighter. He's not a brawler, if that makes sense. So they really picked the wrong guy. And the thing they didn't count on either is that like half the church ladies in the world love Brandon and they pray for him. And I say that in a nice way. Like he has so many women praying for him. He has moms all over the world who pray for him. And so God is turning this around for good, because he spent this whole last year planning with his team for what they're going to be doing leading up to the midterms and leading up to 2024. So it was a bad move on the part of the deep state. Really, really bad move. And so yeah, just keep them in your prayers. And so speaking of midterms, I want to say something about that. You're going to see a lot of people saying midterms are coming in November. It's not that far away. It's 9 months away. Da 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 da. So here's the thing. Yes, they are coming. It's important. We're gonna completely wipe the floor with the globalists and the rhinos and the deep state. But what they're not saying to you is primaries are here. It's primary season. And the people that tell you that midterms are coming are probably the ones that don't want you to vote in primaries because they want to sneak in their rhino candidates and have business as usual. Well, there's a new Republican Party in town and it's called Team MAGA, MAGA Nation, Team Freedom, whatever you want to call it. And we are bringing candidates into the mix, And it is super, super important that you go and vote in your primary in your state. Uh, do not neglect to do that. This is really important because that's where you pick the candidate. And this is the time to make sure that you are registered to vote at your current address, and that if your state has a party specific primary, that you are registered in the party that you want to vote in. I would hope that that would be Republican. Not because I'm a tried and true Republican, but because we're taking back the Republican Party. And so if your state has open primaries, then you're going to want to go and vote in the Democrat primary as well, and pick the person that they hate. um, Pick the person that is the least favorable to that party, and maybe upset their plan. Okay. Now, give me some love in the chat here. Everybody's gone quiet. Everybody's probably multitasking. Let me know that you're still here. Who has already registered to vote? Who has figured out if your state has open primaries? Who has figured out if your state has a convention like Virginia? Virginia does not have a primary for the Republican Party. The Republican Party here has a convention. You have to register to be a delegate to go and vote for your candidate in the convention. So that is important to understand. If that's the case in your state, you actually have to register to be a part of that. Really, really important. So go find out. Yeah. So do your homework. Go find out when your primaries are, if it's a primary or a convention, uh, if it's an open primary. So that if that's the case, you need to find out the Republican primary and the Democrat primary. Do your homework on the candidates, and then make sure that you're registered to vote at your current address. Those are the things that you got to do. So that's taking action in a very, very practical way. And so that leads me to my next thought, which is this. Oh, I told you that I was gonna give you some thoughts about the sudden pivoting in the messaging. Have you noticed? Well, first of all, Sweden came out. Thank God for Sweden. They said, "We're done. Pandemic's over. Go live your life. It's over." Isn't it interesting how President Trump said, "One day it's just going to disappear." And then if you watch Manuel, I can't remember his last name. He goes on Elijah streams, and God took him into the future, into 2022. And at the time when he first talked about it, I was like, I think he has the year wrong. I think he must be in 2021, because he saw people walking and smiling and they didn't have masks on and everybody was free. And it was like the pandemic never happened. And I mean, of course, we didn't know at the time that it was going to take this long, that they were going to dig their heels in and double down on tyranny for this long, but they did. And so, what is starting to happen? I know that you may be in a place where people are still masked up and they're wearing the duck masks, um, but I think that it really is important to be encouraged by what he saw, because it was just gone, done. And I think that we're starting to see states that we never thought would do this lift their mandates. Connecticut, I just saw that Massachusetts is going to have everything lifted by the end of the month. Now, I don't know why they put a date on it. Like, what's the deal? Is COVID just going to hang around till the 28th? Is that what's going to happen? Um, it's just, I don't get that, you know? Um, and then the other thing is, like, I think it's March 15th that the federal mandate for, I think, for airports expires. I don't know if that means planes, but, like, come on, guys, we're done. Take the stupid masks off. Um, and uh, and so anyway, a bunch of states have shifted their mandates. Somebody just asked a question. I want to answer it in the chat before I go on. Yeah, the duck masks are just, oh gosh. Anyway, um, Grandma Donna, I posted the link for Walkaway website, but it's gone now. Was I not supposed to do that? Yeah, they're probably mad at us for posting links, but so thank you for trying. If you post, there's one thing about social media that you guys should learn to get around the censorship. I'm talking about socialist media, not things like CloudHub. But you have to learn how to write things in such a way that it doesn't trigger their AI. So, for example, if you're writing the word walk, you write it with like a W-A and then a capital I and then a K, right? And then walk away and then um for the .com you spell it out, do a space and then a dot and then a com. And so then the people that come along after the fact to and see that information, it's up to you to actually go in and type it in the way it's supposed to be written and then go to the website. So it's not a clickable link. All right. So just keep that in mind. I appreciate you trying to post it, but it doesn't surprise me that they yeah would do that. Yeah. Uh, Now here's the thing. Here's the exhortation and the warning. All right. Um, I wrote down some stuff. Okay, this was kind of a download from God, so I'm just going to read it to you. Don't let down your guard. This rapid removal of mandates and restrictions is to be celebrated, but never forget that these people are giving back rights that never were theirs to take. Never forget that. They are not the heroes. Be on guard for the next crisis that they manufacture as an excuse to usher in the Great Reset. It is likely they are simply taking a pause before launching their next round of hysteria and crisis. This is a reprieve, not a retreat. You guys understand that, right? Never ever get caught asleep again. We must stay on guard continually to prevent the enemy from coming back and taking 7 times the territory that we have gained. God must fill the void. God must fill the void. I'm going to say that again. God must fill the void. Be aware of subtle ways that the enemy sneaks in to enslave people. It's not just the obvious tactics like lockdowns and mandates, it's also the media, the constant negative press, the barrage of distractions like Netflix, and overeating and addiction. These are ways that the enemy has taken hold and managed to enslave more people during the pandemic. And I would go on to say that that is actually, not only has he enslaved the minds of people that don't see what's going on, but so many people have been enslaved by addictions and bad habits that they're using to cope. Okay. Um, be on guard against depression, despair, malaise, negativity, discouragement. Beware the false comforters, for there is only one comforter, and that is Holy Spirit. This is just a word from the Lord for you guys. Pray for divine revelation and strategies for the truckers and for everybody involved in this war. For families fighting the school boards, for people who are running for office for the first time. The Lord is with us in battle, and he will give strategies and tactics that the enemy would not think of. So that's just that. Those are my thoughts. Those are God's thoughts about what is going on right now, and it's so important that people really embrace that, because like I said, there are people who have been working and it hasn't affected them financially, uh, but it's affected all of us in different ways, and it's affected our kids. One of the biggest things is, I think the average weight gain in the high school and college has been, I think, like 25 pounds. That's a lot of weight. And the suicide level is up. I mean, there's so many things that have been happening. It's an enslavement that we have to break free of, and we have to, the Lord wants us to turn to him, to Holy Spirit, for comfort. All of us have experienced trauma and loss and heartbreak during this time. It's not an easy time. And however, it is war. We are at war. And it is, it's no accident that, the Brandon regime is spending, I think, $30 million on crack pipes. So they spent, how much money did they spend on Chinese masks and tests made in China? And now they're sending out crack pipes. Like, it, I mean, it's laughable. I mean, it's pathetic. Can you imagine somebody going, the PR people going to Brandon and saying, "Hey, I've got a really good pivot. I know we're losing. We're failing miserably. If people are your approval ratings are in the toilet. Inflation is up the highest that it's been in 40 years, and people are leaving the Democrat Party in droves, and you know, there's the families, the working class families are fed up. I mean, our energy industry is completely obliterated. Um, Everything, whatever. So here's the plan. Here's how we're going to turn this all around. Think about it. Think if you're Brandon and you have these public relations team that is um, that is advising you on this. Okay, and you're Brandon and you're thinking, oh, please tell me how I can get my approval ratings out of the toilet going into midterms. That would be awesome because the Democrat Party's in trouble. And so you're sitting there with your PR team and you're Brandon and his inner circle, and the PR guys are going, crack pipes, crack pipes, crack pipes for all. And they say that with a straight face. And so anybody with two functioning brain cells is going to go, that's the worst idea ever. You're fired. But not if you're Brandon, because you partnered with the devil who comes to steal, kill, and destroy. And so you're like, that's perfect. Let's go with it. I mean, yeah, let's enable more addicts and let's just provide what they need for free. Let's further destroy the country. We have a country that is mired, where we have record overdoses, where people have lost family members to suicide, overdose, um, hospital being held hostage in the COVID wards, um, job losses, record unemployment, record inflation, and so we're going to fix this by giving everybody a crack pipe. I mean, that's some deranged that's some deranged thinking right there. Like they're not even trying. They're not even trying to help. They're not even trying. It must have been Hunter's idea. Yeah, I guess Hunter is running the PR department now. I mean, that guy, he's a man of multi talents, right? He's a painter, selling those paintings for more than a Picasso. He's the head of, he's on the board of an oil company, never done any oil anything. Uh, yeah, I mean, he gets money, from Chinese firms to invest, and now he's advising. Now he's the PR guy. Hey, crack pipes for everybody. Yeah, Brandon must have spoken with the smartest man he knows. I mean, guys, I know it's not funny, but I mean, the memes just write themselves. There's just I mean, who legit thinks that's a winning strategy? I mean, you know, who think I just yeah. But that's what happens when you partner with your father the devil. That's what happens because it's depravity. They're operating from a depraved mindset. It's not about life, liberty, the pursuit of happiness. It's not about abundance. It's about death, destruction, the fear of death, panic, fear, etc., etc. Right? Um, yeah. Oh, Millie's on a roll here. Let's just wait till Oprah gets a hold of this, right? You get a crack pipe, and you get a crack pipe, and you get a crack pipe. Oh, and here's a test, and here's a mask. Yeah. I mean, okay. Yeah, they're soulless. They are. They have no souls. They have no souls. And that's just yeah, all there is to it. Speaking of which, somebody had a record year, the highest income from one drug in any given year in the history of pharmaceuticals. Starts with a P. So when they talk about safe and effective, what they mean is that it was effective at making some people wealthy. That's what they mean. Uh, that's what they mean. 36 billion in profits. 36 billion for that company that sponsors all the news every night. 36 billion. The biggest income producing drug ever in a single year. Now you know why I told you, all the incentives they give for people to do this. That's why. So people are getting payouts and bonuses for doing this. That's why it's in the best interest of a municipality, a city, a state to have lotteries and give away free gifts um, because of the payout that they're getting. Because remember, these companies did not have to pay salespeople. The government just is just throwing money at them. It's your money, right? Um, yeah, it's your money. Okay. So, oh, Arizona. Where are my Arizona people? Things are heating up in Arizona. Mark Fincham put in a resolution. Let me go find it. I read it. It was very interesting. He put in a resolution. He submitted a resolution to have the vote count from three uh, the vote count from three different counties invalidated, and it's very interesting, very interesting to read. The other thing is that Carrie Lake is just slaying. She's just punching back at as hard as possible. Um, she's she's not quite at the troll level of Ron DeSantis's press secretary, Christina Pushaw, but she's getting close. Um, she did an interview with an Australian TV station, and they're just as bad as CNN. And they were trying to catch her up. Yes, Karen, one of those is Maricopa County. They were trying to catch her up, in the whole J6 narrative, and she just pushed back, and her people recorded the whole thing, um, and she said she doesn't know if they're going to air it, but she will because they recorded the whole thing. Um, yeah, absolutely just crushing it. And, she's gotten President Trump's endorsement. So unless they steal it, guys, Kerry is going to be your governor. You know that. So please get behind her. Please support her. Vote for her in the primary. I mean, it's your decision, but I'm just going to tell you, I know these things, and I'm telling you that other people that are challenging her in the primary, um, they're not going to be your governor. Carrie Lake's going to be the governor. All right. And they're going to try to tell you that, she voted for Obama. Yeah, she did. But you know what? So did Brandon Strzok. So did, I don't know if President Trump did, but President Trump donated to Democrats. A lot of people did, but a lot of people have waken up. A lot of people have been red pilled in the last 5 years. And, Carrie Lake was in media for years. So she saw what was happening. And I have a friend in Arizona that's known her for years. And we talked about this, and Carrie's the real deal. She's legit. Her family, uh she's the real deal. So you're going to see the fake news, you're going to see the haters coming after her. You are going to you're going to hear things about her that may be true, but I would encourage you to really think about whether it matters. Okay. um um okay. Yeah, Millie says business people always donate to both parties, the nature of the business. Oh, let's see. Paul and Rach on Facebook are saying, what are your thoughts on Sarah Huckabee Sanders for Arkansas? Several people are saying she's not MAGA. I would have to hear who's saying that. President Trump has endorsed her already. So, that sounds a little bit odd to me that she wouldn't be. She and her father have been, I mean, she was President Trump's press secretary, as you know, and she and her father, Mike Huckabee, have been, big supporters of his. So that would be, to me, that sounds like concern trolling, but I haven't looked into it. But my hunch would be that that's what that is. Do you guys know what a concern troll is? You want me to tell you? Concern trolling is when people who mean well, uh, people come into the conversation acting like they have a concern, and they're there specifically to sow doubt. Okay, so and they'll say things in such a way that it's not a big um, aggressive hit on the person or the situation. It's somebody that presents themselves as a supporter, but then will say things like, "Well, I read this article about Carrie Lake, and I read that she supported Obama both times, and then I heard this thing," and they're basically spreading rumors, but they're doing it in such a way that it's a very subtle, expressing concern. I'm just a little concerned, but it really is a form of blackpilling. It's meant to manipulate you. It's like soft trolling, but it's very targeted. It's manipulation. They're manipulating your emotions. So be very aware of those people. You'll see them in Telegram chats. They're never going to come right out on the attack. It's always it's always going to be something like, yeah, I read this, and they said this about the person, so I'm just not so sure anymore. I get this in my chat sometimes, right? Mary, what do you think about this? I heard this, that kind of thing. So just be aware of that, and ask for discernment, because you'll see a lot of that. I mean, we get it. There's a whole segment, there's a whole GOPE cadre that just absolutely hates Trump. And, they're the ones that will come out and say things like, this is really concerning that he did this. It looks like he's losing his base. And they act like they care. That all they care about is their paycheck and status, guys. Just be aware of that. All right. Be really aware. I hope that people have a better awareness now than they did, even a year ago or 2 years ago of the treachery of these, especially the GOPE, the so-called Republicans. Some of them are what I call Rhino light, but they care about power. Um, they care about money, position, power, status quo. They don't want what Trump has to offer because it's for the people. He's for the people. All right. So somebody said I'm late, no notification. Looks like people are just coming in. Yeah, so we're back on YouTube. You might have to turn on your notifications again. Obviously, they don't want us here. So if you're just coming in, I'm Mary Grace. This is Mary Grace Media, Real Talk with Mary Grace. And this, I'm coming to you live right now. I wanted to reiterate that I'm asking people to go and watch my, and follow my Rumble channel. Please follow my Rumble channel because I am going to be streaming to Rumble as soon as I can. I'm not going to stay on YouTube forever. I'm not giving them the satisfaction of making money off of my content and off of your engagement. I would rather do that with Rumble. And, I can monetize my channel over there. I can say what I want. And I do think that it is going to be part of Truth Social. I think it's going to be the video platform. In any case, I'm going to be on Truth Social when it comes out as well. It's so funny, the attacks against Truth Social are already coming. Uh, they announced that the launch has been pushed back a little bit, which of course you know, it's not surprising. That's just the way things go in that industry. Um, but 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 they but it's so funny because the fake news is coming out and saying, the stock the stock tanked, um, you know, because of the announcement of the late start of Truth Social. And so I'm like all excited. I'm like, woohoo, I'm gonna go buy the dip. And and I go over there, I look at my stock, I look at the stock ticker, and it's like trading at 84. And I'm like, the stock did not take a tumble. The stock value of DWAC, which is what Truth Social is held in, it's like it's fine. Anyway, they're so desperate. I mean, Trump lives rent free in their heads still, and so they're just spreading fake news. I was going to buy the dip, but there really wasn't a dip. Let me see what it is right now. Um, Let me see. It's just so funny. Where is it? Bitcoin is way down. If you're going to buy Bitcoin, people are saying this is a good time. Pfizer's down. Okay, DWAC is right now it's at 82.26. So it's down 1.37%. So according to fake news, it took a dive. It took a dive. I mean, it's just crazy. Um, so yeah, so Rumble, somebody asked when I'm going to switch to Rumble. I don't know. I don't know yet. I want to build up my audience over there. So I'm asking you guys to go follow and then share whatever I have over there, leave comments, etc. I want to go pretty soon. It also, the streaming setup is affected as well. Um, when I do this program that I'm in, Restream, they have they have certain standard platforms that you just click on and it connects, and then I can see the chat in the side here. Um, I'll show you. So like I can make the chat show up. So there's Millie's little comment, but I can also I can also put the chat in the side like some of the broadcasters do. There's me. But um so I can't see my chat in the sidebar when I stream to Rumble or CloudHub. Hopefully that's going to change with Restream if enough people ask them, I guess. but but the other thing is um I'm not going to stay on YouTube forever. So all that to tell you that there's just some logistics that need to be worked out. It's not impossible. I would just prefer that I could see the chat, you know. But if I'm on Rumble, I'll just have another screen up and I'll be able to see the Rumble chat at the same time. So that's just my like streaming preference. It doesn't have to do anything to do with your experience. It's just a logistics thing. Somebody just asked me a question. What was it that I was going to tell you? Can't remember. Somebody said something and it triggered a thought. Yeah, Rumble is a really good platform, you guys. It's very it's easy, it's user friendly. Like you can do that picture in picture thing, so that you can listen to Rumble while you're doing other stuff. It's just a video platform, just like YouTube is, and it, it's decent, And there's a live chat feature. There is a comment feature, so you can do both. You can live chat, you can come back and comment. Speaking of comments, if you come back to watch the show, please leave a comment. Let me know you were here on all these platforms. Oh, somebody asked about whether I would do videos on Telegram. No, no, I'm not going to do that. I don't like Telegram. And Telegram is good. Let me rephrase that. I'm on Telegram. I have a Telegram page. Um, Telegram for me is not interactive enough. Like the one of the reasons that I like Twitter is that I like interacting with everybody. Telegram, I have to go to a channel to see somebody's content. It's just a different format. And the if I do a live stream on Telegram or if I put up a video, I can talk and I can see who's listening, but people actually have to raise their hand and talk to make a comment. So it's just not my flow, you know. But speaking of Telegram, let me give you my Telegram channel. It's right here. There it is. Mary Grace Media Official. So please do go and follow my Telegram, because that is sort of uh, you know, ground zero for where I will give you information about where I'm going to be and all of that if something does go down. Okay. So do follow that. Okay. All right. Any other questions? I have a few more minutes today. So if you guys have questions you want me to um, answer, I can do that. Somebody asked about Bitcoin. I am not versed in crypto or Bitcoin. The best person to talk to about that is JC. Are you still here, JC? He's one of my moderators. He knows a lot about it. He can tell you a lot. I do have Bitcoin. I do have some other crypto. Um, the way that I understand it is that if you look at what happened over the weekend um, when the mayor of Ottawa asked GoFundMe to cease and desist the the truckers' fundraising efforts, um, GoFundMe announced not only that they were going to stop the fundraiser, but they were going to take the money, which is illegal. um, but they had access to it. So Bitcoin keeps keeps the feds out of your money. Basically, it's a closed system, right? Um, and so it's like it's unregulatable. Um, it's untraceable, so like you can buy and sell without having the feds in your money. Of course, IRS wants you to start paying tax on that. So there's a lot of I think pluses and minuses about it. Of course, if you're libertarian, you love it because you want less government, like no government, probably. Somebody just asked, "How do I like our new governor and admin?" So far, so good. All the right people hate him, so that's good. It's kind of funny watching the leftists in Virginia have a meltdown because, they're accusing him of being like too Trumpian and appealing to Trump's base and all of this stuff. And the crazy thing is, the Trump people were actually worried about him. We were kind of worried that he was going to be this globalist, deep state shill, and that he was going to be like all talk and no action. And he actually has been a man of action, and his administration has as well. Jason Miyares, Winsome Sears, they're actually they're coming out of the gate strong. One thing that I don't like about the governor is that he puts a lot of emphasis on taking the shot, and so you know, uh, but if that's not a hill to die on. Um, hopefully he'll pivot away from that at some point. Maybe he'll get some messaging on that. One of the things that I think that he needs to do, which is what Ron DeSantis does, is I think that it would be good for him to take a little more aggressive stance in messaging sometimes, so that he doesn't get caught on his heels with apologies. Because as we know, these people, they demand apologies, but what they're really demanding is fealty. They don't care how much you apologize. What they really want is their boot on your neck, and they won't settle for anything less. And so there's no point in trying to um, appease them. Now that being said, we actually had a new um, we actually had a new we had a we had legislation passed yesterday, bipartisan legislation, for about the masking of kids, and basically it's going to be a parent's choice. That's a big deal. Now, the leftists, the teachers union wannabes in Virginia, they act like everybody's going to die and that he's a Nazi for giving parents the choice of what to put on their kid's face. I kid you not. I mean, these people are apoplectic. He's literally Hitler for giving parents the choice, and about what goes into their education. So, I mean, but again, you can never win with these people. You just can't, because again, kill, steal, destroy. That's the devil's agenda. It's like trying to bargain with an abuser. That doesn't work ever, right? I mean, we've seen that during the pandemic. Well, if we give you this, then you'll give us this. And then they're like, oh, yeah, no, that's not what we really meant. We really want this, this, and this. Sucka, right? That's how they are. So you just can't bargain with them. All right. Uh, um, Lisa has a question. My daughter in law got the dreaded order at her job. Um, they must get it by this coming Monday. Should she file for religious exemption or hold out? Why not file? I mean, Lisa, um, have you been to Peggy Hall's page, The Healthy American? They have a course that tells you exactly how to file. I think Millie, is that what your husband used? A lot of people have used it. Um, they've gone through her course and they've done exactly what she teaches, she and her husband, and they have been successful. What it depends on the state too. Um, I know that they have a lot more success with that than with medical exemptions. Um, okay, Shay filed it for your husband. Shay, did you guys use Peggy's course? Millie said they used Peggy Hall's course. It's really good. She's a great teacher. She spells things out, very step by step. They have templates. I think she has a lot of free content, but she also has like a paid course where you can just go through the modules, and it's just step by step. She's a very good teacher. And she talks about, different ways to word things, um, what they will, what they will, like the um, the rebuttals that they come back with. So sometimes they want people to answer a whole bunch of questions. She teaches you how to navigate all that. Yeah, so go check that out. Yeah, it's definitely worth it because people are actually getting approved by using her materials. Okay, hold on a second. All right. Okay, yeah. So Millie said she thinks her husband just used the free videos. Yeah, so it just depends. Start with the free stuff and then get the other stuff if you need it. Okay. So, okay. I'm glad everybody came today. Please don't forget to share this. So your homework is share the broadcast, leave a comment, like, and then subscribe to the channels. But also go to my Rumble channel and subscribe to my Rumble channel, Mary Grace Media. Follow me on Telegram, Mary Grace Media Official, and then write to me. So, okay, write to me, and here's my information. I guess I'm going to have to stop talking soon because I've got this froggy throat. Here we go. Okay, so superfoods, info at marygracemedia.com. I talked to you guys and said that we were going to be doing a group transformation in February, and that just didn't come through. We're going to be doing one in March. So we're calling it spring into summer. So if you've had some New Year's resolutions and they kind of fell by the wayside and you want to pick out over Super Bowl or whatever, um, uh, that's okay. It's never too late. If you're dealing with health issues and you want to do a reset with your nutrition, this is a really, really great program. Everything is kind of spelled out for you, and it's all organic, non-GMO, really, really high quality superfoods. So info at marygracemedia.com is where you get that information. You can write to me and you can get a promo code so you can save over $100 off of the 30-day supply. Also have CBD. Go to shopwithmarygrace.com to get your CBD. And it's pretty awesome stuff. I did some I over exerted myself the other day. I rearranged my whole apartment. And I was pushing furniture around and I took a bunch of CBD before bed and I wasn't even sore. So it's really good stuff. Shopwithmarygrace.com to do that. Yes, I rearranged the whole apartment. Okay, I'm not going to keep coughing in your ear. I'm going to sign off. I will be back Monday at 1 o'clock Eastern. Everybody go try to watch Brandon Strock tonight on his live stream. And what else? Write to me, info at marygracemedia.com, and follow my channels. And I will be back on Monday. Take care, everybody.